We're counting down the 11 critical actions that separate survivors from victims in the first 72 hours after disaster strikes. From overlooked safety steps to resource-saving moves and split-second decisions, this ranked list is built on real stories and proven outcomes from major catastrophes. Which actions matter most, and what mistakes turn emergencies deadly? Let's reveal the countdown, starting with number 11. Every disaster begins with a rush. People grab flashlights, food, anything they can find. But the first move that actually saves lives is a perimeter sweep for hazards. In less than 15 minutes, walk the inside and outside of your home, looking for the real threats: the smell of gas, the sound of hissing, downed power lines, flooding, or sparks. If you spot damage, shut off the gas, water, or electricity at the main valves or breaker. Never guess. Only act if you see or smell danger. Knowing exactly where these shutoffs are before an emergency is non-negotiable. In the 2016 earthquake, a single ignored gas leak forced an entire block to evacuate. Survivors don't touch supplies until the scene is safe. This step buys time for everything that follows: water, food, power, by stopping explosions and fires before they start. The supplies in your basement mean nothing if your house fills with gas. Clean water disappears faster than almost anything else after disaster strikes. The moment the power flickers or the first alert sounds, every faucet and container in the house needs to be filled. During the Texas freeze, families who filled bathtubs and pitchers right away had enough for a week. By midnight, millions were left with nothing but empty taps. The target is 3 gallons per person for the next 72 hours. 1 for drinking, the rest for cooking and basic hygiene. Even if water is still running, pressure can drop without warning. Start with the bathtub, then fill every pot, jug, and bottle. Don't forget the water heater. Most hold 30 to 50 gallons of clean water, ready to use if the main supply fails. In 2019, a water main break left an entire neighborhood dry overnight. The only people who didn't panic were the ones who filled up before the crowd realized what was happening. Food safety becomes the next critical window. Once the power goes out, every time the refrigerator or freezer door opens, cold air escapes and the countdown to spoilage accelerates. The CDC's protocol is clear. A full freezer, left unopened, keeps food safe for 48 hours. Half full, only 24. The refrigerator is even less forgiving. 4 hours, then it's a race against bacteria. During the 2018 ice storm, a neighbor checked his freezer multiple times a day. By day 3, everything inside was lost. Meanwhile, food in a freezer left closed stayed frozen for 5 days. The discipline is simple but strict. Don't open the fridge or freezer unless you're moving items to a cooler with ice. If you have ice or cold packs, transfer only what you'll use soon. When in doubt, throw it out. Preserving calories now means you have safe food for the days ahead, instead of risking illness when help is still far away. Carbon monoxide kills quietly, often before anyone realizes there's a problem. During Hurricane Sandy, 23 people died after running generators too close to their homes, more than were lost to drowning. The mistake is almost always the same: trying to restore comfort by firing up a generator in a garage, near a window, or just outside the back door. But carbon monoxide is heavier than air and seeps indoors, building up in minutes. In 2020, a derecho knocked out power for days across the Midwest. One family, hoping to keep their freezer running, set their generator in the garage with the door cracked open for ventilation. Within an hour, everyone inside was unconscious. Only a neighbor's call saved them. The rule is absolute. Generators must be at least 20 feet from any door, window, or vent. Never inside, never in a garage, not even for a few minutes. Every level of your home needs a working carbon monoxide detector with fresh batteries. Symptoms, headache, dizziness, confusion, can come on fast and without warning. There is no safe shortcut. This single step separates those who survive from those who never get the chance to react. Information is a survival tool, but only if it keeps flowing when the grid goes dark. Cell phones feel like a lifeline until the towers fail or batteries die. In the Paradise Fire, some residents never heard the evacuation order because their phones went silent as the flames advanced. Those who kept a NOAA weather radio with fresh batteries received every alert, even as cell networks collapsed. The protocol is simple. Keep a battery-powered or hand-crank NOAA radio ready, with enough batteries to last at least 72 hours. Set a schedule to check for updates every 4 hours, no matter what. Emergency alerts can change quickly, and missing a single broadcast can mean missing the only window to act. Register for local reverse 911 systems before disaster hits, and keep your phone charged, but never rely on it as your only source. Communication plans and evacuation decisions depend on timely, official information. A weather radio is not just backup, it's the backbone of situational awareness when every minute counts. Phones drop out, towers overload, and suddenly the family is scattered with no way to reach each other. In every major disaster, the difference between reunion and days of panic comes down to one thing: a written, rehearsed communication plan. The plan starts with 2 meeting spots, one right outside the home for immediate emergencies, and another farther away in case the neighborhood is unsafe. Every family member needs to know both locations by heart, not just stored in a phone. Printed wallet cards with addresses and phone numbers become lifelines when electronics fail. During 9/11, local lines jammed, but long-distance calls still worked. Families who had an out-of-state contact could check in and relay messages, even when nobody else could get through. In Katrina, those without a plan spent weeks searching shelters and hotlines, while those with a protocol reconnected within hours. Scheduled check-ins every 6 hours, whether by call, text, or radio, keep everyone on the same page and reduce duplicate searches by rescue teams. Drills make the difference. One parent described a 2014 lockdown where their child went straight to the planned spot, no hesitation, just as they had practiced. These small steps, 2 meeting places, an out-of-state contact, printed cards, and regular check-ins, turn chaos into coordination, giving families the best chance to reunite quickly when it matters most. A scraped knee or a small cut might seem minor in daily life, but after a disaster, even the smallest wound can spiral out of control. During the siege of Sarajevo, medical diaries recorded deaths from simple cuts that became infected, fatalities labeled as preventable. The difference was immediate action. Bleeding must be controlled within 3 minutes. That's not a suggestion. It's a hard limit set by trauma medicine. If blood loss isn't stopped fast, shock sets in and the odds of survival drop sharply. The protocol is clear. Apply direct pressure, use a clean cloth, and if bleeding doesn't stop, don't hesitate. Apply a tourniquet 2 to 3 inches above the wound, never over a joint. Only remove it when professional help arrives. Tourniquets save lives, even if old advice warned of limb loss. In disaster zones, the risk of infection is just as real. A 2015 backcountry trip proved it. One ignored scratch, and 3 days later, red streaks crept up the leg. Infection moves fast, especially when sanitation is limited. That's why a trauma kit isn't just about bandages. It needs antibiotic ointment, clean dressings, and gloves. For those with chronic illnesses, a 90-day supply of prescription medication isn't a luxury, it's a survival requirement. Pharmacies can stay closed for weeks. Rotate your medications, keep them in original containers, and carry a printed list with dosages. Immediate first aid buys the time needed for every other step. In the first 72 hours, stabilizing health isn't just a box to check. It's the difference between making it to rescue and becoming another statistic. Disease spreads fastest when sanitation fails, often in ways that go unnoticed until it's too late. After a flood in 2016, families who didn't separate drinking water from washing buckets fell violently ill within 2 days. The protocol is strict. Label every container, one for potable water, one for washing, and never mix them. Trash bag toilets are not just a backup plan, they're a necessity when plumbing fails. A 5-gallon bucket lined with heavy-duty bags, topped with a scoop of cat litter or sawdust, can prevent waste from contaminating living spaces. Used bags are tied off and stored away from food and water until collection is possible. Hand hygiene isn't optional, it's a survival discipline. 8 to 10 hand washes a day is the minimum, especially after using the toilet and before handling food. Soap and clean water are best, but if water is limited, hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol is the fallback. For disinfecting water, the CDC's rule is clear: 8 drops of regular, unscented bleach per gallon, mixed and left for 30 minutes. If the water doesn't smell faintly of chlorine, repeat the dose. Every step, labeling, separating, washing, disinfecting, shuts down the invisible threats that can turn a stable situation into a health crisis. In the first 72 hours, controlling sanitation is the firewall that keeps one injury or mistake from becoming an outbreak. Every disaster brings a single, irreversible fork in the road. Stay or go. The difference between survival and tragedy often comes down to how fast that decision is made. The clock starts the moment an evacuation warning, especially a voluntary one, hits your phone or radio. You have 30 minutes to act, not to debate. Normalcy bias convinces people that conditions will improve, that the warning is just a precaution, that there's time to wait. But disasters don't pause for hesitation. In 2005, during Hurricane Rita, more than 2 million people tried to leave Houston at once. Traffic jams stretched for up to 24 hours. Over 100 people died, many from heat stroke and running out of fuel on the highway. Those who left within the first half hour found clear roads and safe exits. The protocol is simple. As soon as an official suggests evacuation, even if it's not mandatory, decide and act within 30 minutes. Never let your gas tank drop below half during disaster season. Stations run dry fast, and gridlock means idling for hours. Always have 2 routes mapped and practiced, because blocked roads or downed trees can turn a single plan into a dead end. In 2020, a wildfire swept toward our neighborhood. I left at the first optional warning, taking the backup route when the main road jammed. Neighbors who waited for a mandatory order spent the night trapped in their cars as flames closed in. The right call, made quickly, preserves every other resource: supplies, communication, even your life. When the window opens, you move. There's no second chance. A disaster wipes out more than homes. It can erase proof of who you are, what you own, and your right to receive help. When the grid goes down and banks close, digital records become useless. Access to aid, insurance, and even basic shelter often depends on what you can prove, not just what you've lost. That's why every survivor needs a waterproof, fire-safe kit, packed and ready before trouble starts. Inside, $500 in small bills, ones, fives, tens, buys food, fuel, or a night's lodging when cards are declined and ATMs are dark. Paper money moves when systems freeze, and small bills mean you're not stuck overpaying in a crisis. The second half of the kit is documentation. 10 key items: birth certificates, passports, insurance policies, property deeds, medical records, social security cards, recent photos, and a list of emergency contacts. Cover the questions every relief agency will ask. Copies are good, originals are better, and everything should be updated every 6 months. After Katrina, those with these papers were processed for FEMA aid in days. Those without spent months in limbo, unable to prove their identity or ownership, missing out on critical assistance. The difference is personal. In 2019, a fire took everything from one family. Without ID, they couldn't get help. No hotel, no Red Cross, no government check. Their neighbor, who kept a ready kit, was approved for aid within 48 hours. Bureaucracy doesn't bend for disaster. It demands proof, and only those who plan ahead can deliver it. This kit is more than paperwork. It's the bridge from survival to recovery, and it's the step that separates moving forward from being stuck at the back of the line. Power and communication are the final threads holding every survival action together. When the lights go out and the grid collapses, the difference between reaching help and vanishing into silence comes down to battery discipline and a strict communication routine. Most people drain their phones in the first day, scrolling, posting, checking in with everyone they know. By day 2, the battery is dead and the lifeline is gone. The protocol is simple. Before the outage, unplug unnecessary electronics to protect them from surges and preserve every bit of stored power. Once the emergency hits, switch all devices to airplane mode and only turn them on for scheduled check-ins, no more than 4 times a day. Each check-in is purposeful. A brief status update to family or your designated out-of-state contact, then back to silence. This routine preserves your phone's battery for up to 5 days, even without recharging. Never let your battery drop below 20%. Below that, you lose the ability to call for help or receive critical updates. Keep a written script by the phone for outbound calls or texts. Share your location, your status, and your next planned check-in. If you have a power bank or solar charger, ration its use and rotate devices as needed. During the 2018 hurricane, some who followed this protocol still had working phones on day 5, while their friends were cut off after day 2, unable to call for rescue, unable to get news, left in the dark. Every other action, water, food, evacuation, health, relies on your ability to receive instructions and send out a signal. In the first 72 hours, communication isn't just a convenience. It's the capstone that holds the entire survival sequence together. Execute this step, and you keep every door open. Lose it, and every other plan becomes guesswork. From the crucial first step of securing hazards and utilities to the final discipline of conserving power and communications, these 11 actions illustrate the razor-thin line between survival and disaster in the first 72 hours. The most shocking entries, like the vital choice to evacuate before roads close, or the hidden threat of carbon monoxide poisoning, show how small decisions have life or death consequences. Across every rank, a clear pattern emerges. Survivors don't improvise. They execute proven protocols in sequence. Each action, from locking in drinking water to safeguarding identity documents, is backed by real disasters like Katrina and the Paradise Fire, revealing that timing and disciplined order matter as much as what you store. The list proves that survival isn't about luck or supplies, but about quick, informed execution, often in under 15 minutes. In the end, the first 72 hours aren't won by the best gear, but by the right actions taken in the right order. That's the difference between being a survivor and becoming a statistic.